Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 219th episode of Gaming Talk. This episode, I am going to be joined by Shycor here.
Hi, my name is Shycor, and I'm here for the show, I guess.
As we discuss and give our thoughts on the 2016 crime thriller FMV game, Late Shift. Let's get into this. In this FMV game, our main character is a guy who goes by the name of Matt. Matt's job is that he is a valet and he gets the late shift. After a man basically holds him at gunpoint and forces him to become a part of a crime gang and be a part of their heist that goes wrong in so many ways. One of the stupidest things about this story is that everything hinders on one super duper tiny rice bowl that somehow has immense importance. So much that apparently wars have been fought and many people have died for possession of a tiny rice bowl. Yeah, I laughed too when they said that. The thing is that this rice bowl that our two characters end up with ends up being a fake. Yeah, they try to subvert your expectations by having this rice bowl that was auctioned off at the beginning of the game for £9 million be fake, with the real one tucked away in a crate right before the fake rice bowl got auctioned off. From there, things just happen so quickly. Our group gets in a massive car crash where Matt and Lady are the only two survivors. They almost die, they give us a fake out of a possible romance, and then the two of them walk down an alley, she disappears, and then Matt gets a call saying that the bad guys have her, and to bring her to the bad guys with the rice bowl if he wants to see her again. So he goes and finds the original rice bowl, takes it to the bad guys. They give Matt the key to the room that she's being kept in. He goes to find that they killed her, and then the cops bust into the room, grab Matt, and then credits. I'm not kidding. It just suddenly goes to credits. Now first, I'll give my opinion on this game, and then Shycor will give his. Starting with the positives, and I will say that the acting was pretty good on all involved. The cinematography, camera work, everything was very, very movie-like. They did a good job. The music was nothing really to stand out. It felt like typical action movie music. Okay, let's just get into the negatives, and I will start with the smaller of the two. The game definitely could have benefited from like a streamer mode, where one could take more time with the choices given. Nightbook had it, an FMV I experienced before this, and I chose not to use it for Nightbook. The time on the choices in this game is like 3 seconds. Now maybe that would be fine if I had played this game by myself, but playing it with Shycor, we couldn't really take a minute to think on what decision we wanted to make. The second and biggest negative is the pacing is just too fast. Matt arrives at work, gets taken by gunpoint, gets taken into the fold of this gang, helps them steal the fake rice bowl, the accident where only he and woman survive. They have their low point moment, almost romance. They destroy the fake rice bowl. Woman gets captured. Matt locates and gets the real rice bowl, takes it to the bad guys who take it. Matt gets shown the woman is dead. He gets grabbed by the cop. Bam, credits. Now, I read online that the length of this game was supposedly 1.5 to 2 hours long. Typical action movie length. When we got done recording, though, the thing was like just over an hour. Maybe the length really depends on the choices made, but the game definitely suffers from pacing issues, and it shows. It feels more like the main beats of an action movie rather than an interactive action movie like it should feel. But that's just my thoughts on this game. Now I'm going to bring Shycor in. He's going to give his opinion on the game.
So, my thoughts on the actual game is, again, not bad. Camera work was actually impressive. The way that the actual shots was actually taken, for example, it was just not a static camera. The actual camera actually moved the actual characters on the actual screen. Acting was not that bad, so it could have actually had some improvement. Because sometimes the acting actually felt like they were waiting for the actual to they were actually waiting for the actual director to actually say stop instead of actually flowing one scene to the next. Even though, yes, of course, there is like different shots, meaning because there's like different situations or scenarios that you actually picked. Like the pacing again, really, really quick. For example, that like maybe in the actual when me and Bella was actually playing it, we both had to actually quickly decide that like, oh, we needed to actually pick the right one, or sometimes it will just pick nothing at all. Um, Music was not that bad. Like overall, the game is not bad. Again, with the actual sequence that we actually went through, yeah, it was not bad, but it could have actually be improved. And yeah, surprisingly, I actually liked the characters, even though they were just, generic and very, very basic. Like, for example, the actual main characters, like, which was actually very confusing because he was basic at the start, but then for some reason he quickly adapted to the actual situation. It was confusing because, again, no normal person would just probably just be like, okay, so I'm in a heist. I'm gonna help out these people. And then I'm gonna grow attached to this woman. And then I'm just gonna have romantic feelings. And then just everything just completely just blows up. Just everything just goes down and down and down and even more worse. Like, again, back to my point, the sequence. Again, yes, it's like it's all decided by your choices and stuff. But it's just so disconnected. And there's no way to actually link through one sequence to the next sequence. Because you could clearly tell that like they just stopped the actual recording and then quickly actually shoved another thing like another scene on top of it. And yeah. And that's my overall feedback and review of the whole thing.
Overall, the acting is pretty good, the music is pretty average, but the inability to take more time on choices and the overall pacing issues make this definitely a mixed experience for me.
So my overall opinion of the actual game, not bad. Back to my points. Acting was not bad. The scenes, yes, the editing could have actually been improved. Yes. But I believe everybody actually played the part in the actual game that goes to the actual character, the actual villain, the actual side characters, everything, background characters. Again, editing could have actually been improved. Not just like complete, just hard cut and then a new scene. There's no connecting them. Because, for example, one of the actual when me and Bella was actually playing, it was I believe the guy was beating up the actual drunk people, and then when he actually was finished and tried to actually look for the girl, it was just like a cut and then another shot of the guy just walking down the street, and it was very confusing because there was nothing linking between it. Yeah. Let's see. I'll give it maybe blah 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 blah. 5 derps out of 10 pizzas. I don't know. Not bad, not great, but I recommend it to other people. Yes, if you just want to turn off your brain and just be like, it's just a fun experience. I could just, go just go down the actual list and the different sequence and stuff. Then again, I'm just being overly critical, and maybe I'm such a little bit of a derp. So yeah, and that's my opinion and everything. I hope you enjoy.
Late Shift is an average FMV game that I can't really recommend unless you're just really curious about it like I was. I would like to say thank you to Shycor once more for joining me in playing/watching this game and giving his opinion on it here.
I would like to actually personally thank Bella for inviting me to playing through the actual game with her, and just pretty much just like a thank you, because the actual game was not that bad, but also having the experience with Bella was even more enjoyable. So I'll take that. But again, if you probably have already forgotten, my name is Shycor. Everybody actually calls me Shy. And I'll see you later.
That's going to do it for this. So if you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.